What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. 10-game NBA slate, talking some hoops. AP, Hoop, myself, the usual Monday crew, breaking it all down for you. Hope everybody out there had a great Thanksgiving, had a great weekend. AP, I'll throw it to you first. How was your Thanksgiving? I know what you said last week. Go to your wife's parents, and you go to your parents, watch some football. How was profitable? Was it a profitable Thursday? How was your weekend? What's going on, AP?
No, yeah. So Thanksgiving was a lot of fun. Always good seeing the family, drinking all day, having a good time. I stacked that early game title. So no, I mean, I got absolutely punished by the late game, but it was fine. So no complaints. We got NBA today. So I mean, life is good. We're gonna find the winners.
Yep, life is good. All right, that's for sure. Hoop, how was your Thanksgiving? How was your weekend for sport, for NFL, for NBA? Get a nice slate tonight. What's going on?
Yeah, looking forward to tonight. I was winning the million after the first game. Does that count on Thursday? I was up there. I was actually with our producer Helmet. I said, Helmet, I'm about to go back to back here. About to get another million. Obviously, I had just a ton of that first game. I mean, and then obviously, some of those plays ended up being optimal, but did not anticipate the scoring in that last game, which it took me down quite a bit. Yesterday, I had had some pretty good teams, but they fell short. A lot of Kyler teams, they just did nothing in the second half. I mean, that's still the one thing I just don't get about the NFL, these teams playing with the lead and just no aggression whatsoever. And then they lose. And you love to see them lose in those scenarios because it just happens all the time. You get a little lead. These teams think they're going to sit on a one touchdown lead for an entire second half and just running the ball and just super, cautious play calling. It always bites them in the ass. So that was pretty tilting. I think Kyler was my highest owned quarterback, and it looked like he was going to fully smash, and then just did nothing at all in the second half. So that was frustrating. Looking forward to get it rolling here, NBA and NFL tonight. So Mondays are always fun.
Yeah, Mondays are always great for sure. And it was a little frustrating. Two games, the Baltimore game and then that Arizona game where the Jacksonville Chargers drove. They went for two. I thought it was sharp by both teams, but it was not what I was cheering for. I was cheering for OT in both of them. So that hurt a little bit. Mark Andrews' drop hurt a little bit, but that was Sunday. On to today, like you said. Mondays are always great. Huge prize pools, 10-game NBA slate. A lot of injury news we're still waiting on as always. And NFL as well. The game is gross, that's for sure, but there's a big prize pools as always. A lot of money to be made. If you didn't check out that Showdown show, BigT, then we had Randone and JT that broke down this on free for you on the YouTube show. So if you're on the YouTube channel we're on right now, if you didn't check that out, you can watch that in the past. You can also hit that big red subscribe button, that big like button. It does us a lot of favors. We do appreciate it on this channel pretty much every day, breaking down whatever sport is going on for you guys. That's all we ask for from you. Let's say hi to a couple people before we go game by game on this slate. We had Apone, Nadefy, Cesar Martinez, Kobe, Reezer, Junior, SC, Drew Carpenter, Mr. Mike Daddy, Big Ticket, Jordan. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us as always. Like we said, we got 10 games to dive in though. Let's go right away. Starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Atlanta Hawks, the Philadelphia 76ers, 221 total. Philly is favored by 1.5. We do have some injury news we're waiting on in this one though. DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella, Jalen Johnson, all questionable. Bogdanovich is still out for the Hawks. Going over the Philly side, Harden and Maxey are still out. Embiid is questionable, though. And Matisse Thybulle is also questionable. AP, I'll start with you in this one. Obviously, the prices on Philly are, they're like Embiid, Harden, and Maxey are out like they have been. So if Embiid comes back, is this just a full fade? Can you get to Embiid? Then talk about this Hawks team and if Hunter and Capella news does anything for you.
Yeah, so I was just looking things up a little bit earlier, and there was a beat writer, I believe. I think he was credible, but he said he thought Joel Embiid was more closer to doubtful, very unlikely to play. We'll see though. We don't have it confirmed. I think it's still questionable.
We'll get it before lock though.
Yeah. That's the benefit about this game being in that 7 p.m. window. If Embiid's out, it's the same thing, man. They have not been adjusting our boy Shake Milton's price tag. He's still 6'5". This guy's been ridiculous, man. He's been so efficient, and he's not only shooting good, he's creating, he's dishing out dimes, and he's been aggressive on the boards as well. Really strong usage rate. Like, I don't see how we don't go right back to him. He's been the guy over DeAnthony Melton. You could also go to Tobias Harris as well. Then, the big situation, Trez Harrell and Paul Reed, pretty much a time split there. So if you want to pick one of them, you could. Then the other thing, I believe Clint Capella is still questionable with dental pain. If he's out, it upgrades John Collins. And then, all right, Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. DeJounte Murray is struggling right now. He's going to get it going eventually. But, man, 5 for 16 from the field, only 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, no blocks last game against Miami. This guy, he's a talent. He's going to get it figured out. He's 8.9K. I think at tournaments, if you're a tournament player, if you're making multiple entries, this is a guy to consider because the Hawks potentially tonight are going to be pretty thin too. So, and then Trae Young, you can always go to Trae Young too. One of those guys I feel pretty confident is going to crush. I mean, look, Trae Young put up 52 yesterday with only 4 field goals made. So, I mean, really impressive numbers by him. Despite a really poor shooting night. So right out of the gate, if Joel Embiid's out, if we get a few pieces out on this Hawks side, I'm going to have interest in this game.
So let's say Embiid is in AP. Can you still get to Shake at 6'5"? Obviously, they're still thin in the backcourt, or is that a no?
I mean, if he's in, I probably would move off of him because the offense now is going to revolve around Joel Embiid. It's going to go back to get Embiid the ball, let him do his thing. So I would probably move off of Shake in that scenario.
Yeah, makes sense. And man, Clint Capella, he's been questionable for days. I feel like last Friday he had the dental pain and stuff. So man, that mouth pain is never fun. He might need to find a new dentist or something. Hoop, what are your thoughts in this one? Embiid, Hunter, Capella, a lot of questionable news. So talk if-then scenarios and what you plan on doing in this one.
Yeah, I mean, anything definitive is going to have to obviously be closer to lock because we need all this news in this game. If Capella misses again, I mean, I'll keep playing Nkongwu. I mean, it hasn't worked out great, but man, the minutes have been there, 32 and 33, and he's a better per minute fantasy player than what we've seen the last couple games without Capella. So I'd be fine going right back to him. John Collins coming off the monster game. When was that? Last night, 47.5 fantasy points. I'd be going right back to him. And then, with Capella out, I think, Trae Young becomes a little bit of a better play as well. So you need this news, and it's the first game. So we're definitely going to get it. And then, I agree with the takes on the 76ers side. Like if Embiid does sit, Shake Milton just has been phenomenal. I mean, and again, like AP said, the price has not come up at all. He's only 6.5K. He's been the man. I mean, he has been very, very good. Tobias Harris, I think would become a decent play. I mean, the price is up on him, but kind of back to that, role or expectations to last year when he was playing by himself. You could always count on him for around 40 fantasy points. So he's kind of gotten back to that the last couple games. So in on him, and then Harrell and Reed in GPPs, I'd be fine playing one of them. I mean, they're going to basically split the minutes there, but the main thing here, you need the news. You're going to get it 7 p.m. Eastern game.
Would you have a lean on Trez or Paul Reed if he was out?
Probably, I'd probably go Montrezl Harrell if deciding between the two.
The starter, that makes sense. That's the first game of the night. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern. 10 games on this slate, so there's a lot. But man, we're waiting on big news. If Embiid's out, if Capella's out, Hunter's out, I think we can go to some of these pieces in this game. If all of them are ruled out I think this would be a pretty easy stay away game personally, and we can wait for later news is how I see it. So that's the first game of the night, the Hawks and the 76ers. Let's get to the next game of the night. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern, 2 games that start at 7. Then we got 7:30 games. Minnesota Timberwolves, Washington Wizards, 227.5 total. Washington is favored by 1. On the Minnesota side, Jaden McDaniels is out. Taurean Prince is out. Jordan McLaughlin is out. As far as the Washington side, Rui is questionable. Hoop, I'll go back to you in this one. Gobert, D-Russ, Towns, Edwards. Can you get to any of them and then talk about these Wizards side?
Yeah, it's just 2 tough teams when they're at full strength for fantasy purposes. 2 teams that we really need some sort of injury, I think, before we really start to consider the main pieces here. The Wizards have all their guys. and the Timberwolves essentially have all theirs. The Gobert thing is just funny. What was a Big T that kind of tweeted that out? I mean, the dude is such a disaster. Anyone that followed basketball just knew that was the dumbest trade of all time. Like, there's no way this was going to work with these two guys. So, the best play for me in this game probably is Jalen Noel at 3.1K. Should get, probably mid-20s playing time. That's what he got last time. Got 28 fantasy points, shot the ball 11 times. 3.1K is a full punt, which we like. And there's not a ton of extreme value on the slate. So Noel stands out as one of the better 3K full-on punts on the slate for me. But I can't play any of these main guys at all. D'Angelo Russell's price tag has come all the way down. What is he, 6.2K? Maybe some exposure to him in tournaments. He still does have that 40 fantasy point upside, but I'm not going to pay the premium price tags for guys like Edwards or Karl Anthony Towns. Then on the Wizards, again, when they're at full strength, which it appears they're going to be tonight, I just don't really have all that much interest in them.
Yep, I agree with you there. AP, Minnesota, Washington, what you see in this one?
Yeah, so another spot where we got to keep an eye on some of the news here. It seems like a game where like Rudy Gobert just staring at us at 6'6". I mean, I hate playing him, not a guy I like to play. But man, going up against the Wizards, a team that just sucks. This seems like a spot where we look at it at the end of the night and Rudy Gobert, like his stat line is like 8 points, maybe 10 points, like 19 rebounds, 4 or 5 blocks. And we're like, how in the world did Gobert put up like a 50 piece, So I don't know. I'm definitely not like taking him out of my player pool. I'm going to be considering him. The same could be said with Towns. And then, the other place I'm looking at, like I'm never going to play Austin Rivers. I would much rather play Jalen Noel. At least like we know with Jalen Noel, when he's in there, he's probably likely going to come off the bench. If he does, I would like him more. If he starts, he's just going to be mega chalk. Comes off the bench, he's not. We know when he gets in there, he's going to chuck. That's what he does. And at 3-1, I don't think he's going to hurt us at all. There is some other value later on the slate that we got to discuss, but he's going to be someone I'm looking at. D'Angelo Russell, I mean, this dude, he has upside and he's been playing better and his price tag hasn't moved. But again, he's a tournament player. He can absolutely seek your lineups. He does have the ability, though. He has the occasional game where he's nuked. I think he's only done it maybe a couple times this season. So I think 155 piece against the Cavs. And then I know he has another 48 against the Spurs. Outside of that, your risk with him is he could put up an 18, he can get you 18. And so that's the problem. If you get 18 from a guy that's 6,200 on this slate, you're going to be dust. I don't think you stand a chance to win. So if you're going to play a guy like that, you got to understand what the risk is. And then on the Wizards side, I don't have a ton of interest in these pieces. This team is just, they're frustrating. You got Kuzma, you got Porzingis in there. I mean, I guess the one guy I would consider if we thought the game environment was going to be good would be Brad Beal. But I do think we're going to have many other better options on the slate.
Yeah, I agree with you. Again, not a game, 2 7 p.m. Eastern games. Then we get to 7:30. We are waiting on news on this slate. I mean, if the Embiid and the Hunter and all that news breaks, I think you can play some of these guys, but it doesn't look like a slate. A big T 777, as you like to say. I'm definitely going to have some open spots in my lineup waiting on news, and I just think we have better spots right now. So do have to monitor news, but those are the 2 7 p.m. Eastern games. Next game starts at 7:30. We got three 7:30 games until we go to 8. Charlotte Hornets, Boston Celtics, 224.5 total. Boston is favored by 10.5. On the Charlotte side, LaMelo, Gordon Hayward, Dennis Smith Jr., Cody Martin, all still out. As far as the Boston side, Horford's out. Jaylen Brown is questionable. So we should get this news. What I say is 30 minutes before the game times when they're supposed to get their stuff out. So hopefully we get this news when we're on the Up to Lock show or before that and not right when those games lock. But obviously, Jaylen Brown, huge news. If he's in, I think we can play him at 8.5K. If he's out, obviously Tatum at 10.6, Brogdon, Smart, all get a bump. As far as the Charlotte side, Hoop, I'll just go to you. They are still pretty thin, but I don't love nothing standing out to me on this Charlotte side. Boston, Charlotte, what do you got in this one?
Yeah, the prices all appear to be kind of right on the Charlotte side. I think Terry Rozier is fine at 7.7K. Like if they keep this game close, it's probably because Terry has a pretty good game. But can you pay the 7.7? That's the question. In large field stuff, I'd definitely be looking to get exposure, especially if you're going to go heavy Celtics. Like he's the odds-on favorite to be the guy that makes this game close. So I like him. Don't love that price tag on Oubre at 6.7. The other cheap guy I think we can go to here is this Kai Jones. He's 3.3K. They're just lacking bodies right now. He played 27 minutes last game, 26 fantasy points. So a good fantasy producer. So I'd be fine going to him for super cheap. And then on the Boston side, I think you nailed it. Like if Jaylen Brown's in, he's in play at 8.5. If he's out, it's going to bring everyone else into the conversation. Smart, White, Brogdon, and even Tatum become viable options tonight. So, if Brown is in, I think he's a fine play, and he's probably the only one I do play if he is in. But then if he's out, I'm going to bring those other 4 guys into my player pool for sure. So it's a pretty clear-cut game for me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, man, if he's out, AP, Smart, we got Brogdon, Tatum, obviously. We already without Horford. Like, how many Boston would be too many, do you think? Obviously, we do have some other spots on this slate, but if he's in, what does that do for you if he's out, and then any Hornets for you?
So I'm kind of working under the assumption that Jaylen Brown sits tonight. It seems like Tatum, it just seems like a spot where
sat yesterday, Tatum.
Yeah. Boston's, this team's good, man. They don't need Jaylen Brown in there to get the win. We do like bigs against the Hornets. So, and the problem now without Horford out, we don't have like your traditional big in there. I mean, who knows who they start? Could be Blake Griffin.
We could see him go to that Grant Williams lineup that we saw so much last year too.
It could be that, and I will say like Luke Cornett, he's been good off the bench. Sam Hauser, he's been good off the bench, so you could go to those guys. We're not playing dusty Blake Griffin though. No matter like even if he starts, we're not.
That was my next question.
Yeah, we're not.
No,
okay. I'm not. So here's the thing, like. This looks like a spot where Tatum is just going to absolutely nuke because I think the rebounding opportunities are going to be there. I think everything's going to flow through him. So I think what you're going to see is an easy double-double for him because I think he's going to get at least 10 boards. And we know he's going to score a lot of points. I also see like him getting a few more assists here too. So I see Tatum having a monster night. He's one of the studs I absolutely love. Preferably if Jaylen Brown is out. Do need the game to stay a little bit close. I don't think you need to run it back, but if you do, Jalen McDaniels, I think is fine. You could go Terry Rozier. He's been terrible shooting, like the guy. So like if you look at his box scores, hasn't gotten there, but if you just like mess around and increase his efficiency from the field, the guy has the ability to pay off his tag and put up a big number. He just struggled with the shot. So whenever that turns around for him, he's going to have a big night. Could be tonight too, here against the Celtics. So I don't mind Terry Rozier. Kelly Oubre, I kind of agree with Hoop, a little bit high of a price tag for me, but they're going to be thin tonight, so it comes down to, can they keep this game close or is it going to be a blowout? If you think it is going to be a blowout. So I got a question for you guys. I always called him Theo Maladon, but it's Teo, right?
Theo. I think I always said Theo.
So I'm watching it. Yeah, I'm watching NBA. I always did too. I'm watching League Pass, and the guy keeps saying Teo Maladon. I'm like, who is that? And maybe the chat can help us out with the correct pronunciation.
Learn something new every day. I mean,
exactly.
I'll trust the guy that's getting paid to call the game of that guy. So
I don't know. The guy we need to trust, we have on our staff here. That's JT Hayes. We got to ask JT on that one.
Yeah, we will ask JT Hayes. So all right. So I wouldn't play Blake Griffin, but playing on a script, like I like Nick Richards, man. I think he's good when he's in there. Obviously, like this may be the wrong slate for him, but just look, like if he can get the minutes, the guy can produce fantasy wise. He's really cheap. I do think we have better value on the slate. I'm just saying, if you're multi-entering, looking at a deep tournament play, he is someone I would consider because the Hornets are going to be thin tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Jalen McDaniels call. I like the Terry Rozier call as well. I mean, the dude plays upper 30s and just chucks. Like, if you're playing multiple Celtics, I definitely think you could play Terry. You just got to hope for a good shooting performance. AP, last question before we go to the next game. Because I heard you mention it, but I don't think I heard a complete answer. If Jaylen Brown is in, Are you getting to Tatum? You said you still like him, but 10-6 would be a lot with a healthy.
I probably need Brown out, to be
Yeah.
honest, to pay that tag for him. But I think he has upside no matter what.
Yeah.
So in deeper field stuff, I would definitely play him if Brown is in. But in your like single entries and 3 max, I think it does get a little bit thin.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, Tatum always has that upside for sure. It would be a lot better play though if Jaylen Brown was out. So
Yeah.
that is Boston. That is Charlotte. Let's see what we got with the likes right now. 380, 120, 380 watching, 120 likes. We appreciate if you hit it. I'm not going to set a number yet. I just want to see the like button. We want to get to the plays of the day on this Monday. Just do us a favor, like button, subscribe button. I don't want it to get too hurtful where I have to set a number. Let's see. It's most likely pronounced Teo because it's French, Chris said. So yeah, hey, there you go.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris,
there we go.
Yeah, I assume the guy, I assume if someone, the announcer that's calling the game would probably know how, but I've always said Theo. And to be honest, I'll probably keep saying Theo because I'll probably forget.
Title.
But
I didn't even know he was French. So I learned 2 things today. So yeah, good stuff.
There we go. Yeah, you learn something new every day. We appreciate that, Chris. All right, that is 3 games down though. Still got a lot left. The Orlando Magic, the Brooklyn Nets, 224 total. Brooklyn is favored by 10.5. Seth Curry's back for Brooklyn. They are pretty much fully healthy. As far as Orlando, just the opposite. Suggs is still out. Wendell, Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, Fultz, Jonathan Isaac. Some of those guys have been out for a little while, but all of them are still out with Chuma Okeke and Mo Bamba questionable. Man, I mean, this Brooklyn team, if you want to play Ben Simmons, I want to ask you guys about Ben Simmons. His prices came up at 7-1. He shot the ball 3 times last game in 33 minutes and put up 34 DK points. Absolutely crazy. You don't see that stuff, but man, that's the Ben Simmons of old that we like to see. He's filling up the stats and assists, rebounds, stocks. So man, I'm interested to see what you guys got to say about Ben Simmons. He'll be really low owned. Other than that though, Hoop, I'll go to you in this one. What are you doing with Brooklyn, a healthy team, and then this injury news on Orlando, but the prices seem pretty fair.
Yeah, I think the Brooklyn side's much easier to figure out. I mean, Orlando, even despite the injury stuff, I don't know who I really want to play. I mean, Bamba hasn't been all that good. They're going to be without a lot of dudes, but the prices, man, I look at these price tags. I just don't think I can pull the trigger on anyone. So it's a situation I'm just kind of avoiding regardless. I mean, I know I get they're going to be thin, but man, I don't want really any part of it. On the Nets side, I do like some of these guys. Like Ben Simmons fucking sucks at basketball. I mean, that's very clear. Like we all know that he's not a good basketball player, but he can be relevant for fantasy. And we're seeing him do what we're kind of, became accustomed to in the, previous years where he'd go out there, wouldn't shoot the ball, but the peripherals are strong. The rebounding, the assist numbers, the steals, the blocks, like he's got to do all that. And he's started to do it again. I mean, you look at it, he hasn't been under 32 fantasy points in 6 games. He should have all the opportunity in the world with these guys to produce fantasy points. It's a good spot. I'm in on Simmons. I'm also in on Kyrie, 8.4K, back to his normal minutes, hasn't really got the job done recently. 32, got 39 fantasy points last time out. But the minutes for me, 38 and 37, like 8.4K. I'm interested in Kyrie tonight. I'm also interested in Claxton at 5.5, another guy that has big time upside. He's been very steady as of late. He's probably going to play somewhere between 28 and 32 minutes. So I think all 3 of those guys, very strong options. Kyrie, Simmons, and Claxton tonight. I'm interested in all 3.
Yeah, I like it. The Orlando side. So let's just say, AP, I'll go to you with this one. Let's say Mo Bamba is out. If Mo Wagner starts, because Chuma Okeke is questionable as well. Let's say both of them are out and we get Mo Wagner starting at the 5. Would you have some interest there? Because he's the one that would mainly stand out. Otherwise, these other Orlando, it's pretty tough. Like Paulo's price is all the way up there. Franz is. So what are your thoughts if Carter and Okeke were out or just one of them? Could you get to any Wagner? If they're in, are you going to any of this Orlando side? And then talk about the Nets.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting because, look, so like Mo Wagner, I would have interest in him 4-4 if he was starting, just because he's he's a fantasy point per minute, historically pretty decent player. However, like we got to consider a couple things like Evan Mobley, 6'8", Zion, like we're going to get to these games, I know, but Zion, power forward. Again, Herb Jones, same thing, power forward. There's decisions that we're going to have to make, some very, very elite options in that range that would most likely take me off of a guy like Ben Simmons at 7-1. So that, like, I get it with Ben Simmons. he's getting the peripherals, but I think on this slate, I probably won't need to go there because we have better options of guys that have just as good of a floor and a much higher ceiling. So I'll be off Simmons here. The Kyrie thing is confusing. It looks like the projections like him. Maybe it's a price tag thing. It looks like he's going to get some ownership. I don't know, man. Like, you got KD in there. You got, like, the team is like, Brooklyn's healthy. Like, I think they're going to take care of the Magic tonight. I think they absolutely smoke them. They should smoke them. They looked horrible yesterday and Sunday. So Magic on a back-to-back as well. So, I mean, I'm going to be under on this game. I feel fine, in doing so. If I did think it was going to be close, Paulo has to have a monster game. So he would be the guy that I would consider in tournaments. Otherwise, if I'm able to, I would prefer to fade this game.
No, I'm with you. I don't have too much interest in this one. If Bamba's in, Okiki's in, I don't get any Magic. And yeah, the Claxton and Kyrie are the two prices that did stand out. Simmons, if you want to go there too, but if you want to fully fade this game, yeah, I think you're totally fine doing it on a 10-game slate. Next game is a little more interest, AP. You brought up Evan Mobley, heading to Cleveland and Toronto, 216 total. Toronto is favored by 3. As far as the Cleveland side, Jared Allen, Kevin Love, Lamar Stevenson all out. Karis LeVert is going to play. As far as Toronto, Precious, Otto Porter out. Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Banton, and Champagne are all questionable. Man, you mentioned Evan Mobley, so start with their AP and then talk about Cleveland. Then you got to talk about Toronto, if-then scenarios with all this questionable tags.
Yeah, so actually I'm going to start with Darius Garland just because it relates to Kyrie. Like, when I was building out the heat map, it is live. If you want to go check it out now. Lots of news. You're going to see a lot of purple on there because we got a ton of news on this slate to wait for. But like, Garland's 8-8. He's going to play 40 minutes tonight. He's going to chuck. He's coming off a bad shooting night. And the matchup is tough against Toronto, but just between the two, like, Garland, I'm showing is projected to be less owned. I'm not the best with ownership, so I could be wrong there. In relation to Kyrie, I would rather pay $400 more for a guy like Darius Garland because this Cavaliers team is going to be forced into a tight rotation. Garland, Mitchell, I think, are going to have to play 38 plus minutes. And I think Evan Mobley is also going to have to play a ton here. They're like, Evan Mobley. All right. So what did he play? He played 39 minutes yesterday against Detroit. I mean, man, this guy's young. He's fresh. I think they could push him here if they really want to. And who else are they going to play if they don't have him in there? I mean, it's going to be Robin Lopez and spurts moving in there. So I like Mobley in the spot. He's going to have to play the 5. More opportunities for rebounds and stuff, obviously with Allen and Love out. And then, Chetty Osman's my boy is going to come off the bench. Actually, not my boy. The guy is very frustrating. All the bench players here are not on my radar at all. Too big of a slate, too many good value options to consider. But I would definitely consider Mobley 6'8". I think it's a very fair price tag. I think he's a very elite play. And then in tournaments, I think you can go Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland. I think one of them crushes tonight.
That was my next question because you brought up Garland. D-Mitch 400 more or 200 more, actually, right? We got, Garland 8-8, D-Mitch 9K. No preference. You just set a rule max 1 and see what Saber gives you, or what?
So I do like, when you're looking at assist rates and everything, I do like Darius Garland, the ball in his hands a little bit more. Both guys are going to chuck. Donovan Mitchell, I like him. I'm a fan of him, but maybe a slight lean to Garland because I think between the two, he gets a little bit less ownership. I just think they both have upside here in the spot. Tough matchup, though. Tough matchup for sure. So I don't think, I have them as elite tournament plays because we know the upside's there. Tough matchup, but ownership isn't going to be there.
Yeah, no, I don't think ownership's there either. If people are going to this game, it's definitely in the front court. Rightfully so, though. They are thin. Hoop, I want to throw out a name that we didn't really touch on too much. I'm not sure you'll have too much interest. I don't think we see that much ownership on him. But Dean Wade, he was chalky yesterday. They are still thin in the front court. Should get rolling out there a good amount of minutes. But yesterday's slate was a lot less games. It wasn't 10-game slate. We have a lot of other injury news. I'm not sure you're going to get to a Dean Wade, but they are thin. So I want you to talk about him and then talk about Toronto side. A lot of questionable tags. A lot of the prices are up, but if they're out, Siakam, Barnes are out. Like Fred VanVleet at 7-7. We'll talk about this game if then scenarios because we're waiting on some news.
Yeah, so definitely in on Mobley. Okay, I think Mobley's a really strong play. Dean Wade, I don't know. It depends on what value we have. Like if we still are looking for some value, yeah, sure, I'll go ahead and play. Oh, there's Embiid still a game time decision that just came through, but I'd be fine with Wade if we don't get a ton more value. I don't love him. I mean, I definitely like Mobley here, and then I want exposure to Garland and Mitchell. And you probably don't want to play them together, but definitely in your player pool, especially if you're building a bunch of teams. So it's kind of where I'm at on that side. And then on the Toronto side, we need to see who's in and who's out. I mean, Toronto's one of those teams when they're at full strength, they're not really friendly for fantasy purposes. You kind of need some guys out, especially at these price tags. Like I can't pay them. So if one of them's out, I'd be interested in Fred VanVleet at 7-7. I think that's a really good price tag. So I'm hoping at least one are out, and then I'd be totally fine going to VanVleet. You know what you're getting with a guy like him, a ton of minutes. He returned from injury and immediately played 40 minutes. And that was 2 days ago. So not a back-to-back or anything. 46 fantasy points. He's just such a safe fantasy option. Like I love guys like VanVleet. Maybe, you know what, now that I think about it, maybe I would consider him either way, because that's a good price tag to me at 7-7. So VanVleet, I think either way, but if someone's ruled out, then he gets a massive boost.
So, Hey, real quick, let me chime in. Like Hoop, all right. So like Kyrie, like maybe like the ownership projection I'm looking at, maybe it's not updated. Who knows? But Fred VanVleet 7-7, like we're all locking in Fred VanVleet over like Kyrie, right? If you're forced to make a decision between the two, Fred VanVleet gonna play 40 minutes, gonna chuck when he's in there. Kyrie, you're guaranteed. Who knows what you're guaranteed? Nothing really.
Yeah, no, it's probably a good point. Kyrie's going to have a ton more ownership, and VanVleet probably safer with more upside. So that's a good point.
All right, so maybe this is like way off, but like this, I don't think this can be right. But like I'm showing 16% ownership on Kyrie. Is that? Do you guys think that's right?
I'd probably take like 10.
I think he'll get owned. I mean, FanDuel, he's 8.1K on FanDuel, so even cheaper over there. I mean, he's gonna be owned tonight. To what degree, I don't know. It's a 10-game slate, so things will probably get spread out, more than they typically do.
Yeah, it's also like, just say Jaylen Brown's ruled out and everyone goes Tatum, or all these guys ruled out, everyone goes VanVleet. Like if news breaks a certain way and the ownership up top gets concentrated more, we could see Kyrie in single digits. If all the injury news breaks kind of how it is now, I think 10% or something like that is what I'm seeing. I mean, the price tag for sure, like you said, 8.4 for Kyrie? Like when you look at it, it stands out. Same thing with Fred VanVleet though. So both of you guys prefer VanVleet. I mean, the injury news can only get better for him as well. Siakam or Scotty, one of them gets ruled out. I think it's definitely Fred VanVleet in that situation. What do we got? 430 watching, 170 likes. Let's go 275. I think that's a very fair number today. 275 likes. We want to get you the plays of the day today. Still a good amount of games left to break down though, but like button, subscribe button. The likes were getting a little hurtful, so I had to set a number. 275 is the number. Let's get to the next game on the slate. Oklahoma City Thunder, New Orleans Pelicans, 232 total. Pelicans are favored by 6. OKC is healthy, but the Pelicans are not. People in chat are saying this slate's tough or value all of this stuff. Right now, as it stands, the Pelicans are where people are going to be going, because we have Brandon Ingram out. We have CJ McCollum out. Well, I should say Brandon Ingram doubtful. I'm assuming he's out. McCollum is out. Larry Nance is also questionable. Najee Marshall is questionable. Man, I'll just start with you, who break down this game. Obviously, there's Zion, there's Jose Alvarado. How many Pelicans is too many? Break down some of your favorites, and then do you have any interest on the other side of this one with OKC?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the spot to load up. I mean, we got two studs that are out, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, on a slate where, it depends on how the news fully breaks, but this is clearly the best spot, I think, on the slate for value and potential upside. Like Zion at 7.9 on DK, 7.8 on FanDuel is just a phenomenal play here. I mean, they're projected, it's a 232 total. They're favored by 6, about 120 points, 119 points from. It's a big boy number. How do they get there? Well, it probably has something to do with Zion. So you start there with him. Then guys like Jose Alvarado, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, even Valanciunas potentially as a play here. There's options. They're going to score a lot of points. Has to come from these guys. You want exposure to the Pelicans, I think, on almost all your teams, some way, shape, or form. So they're a great source of salary relief. then if see, these are the spots I always like to do something like this with it. I know I'm playing a lot of Pelicans. So in tournaments, I should want to play some studs on the other side. Well, the only stud we have is really SGA. He's 10-5, probably goes a little overlooked on the slate. So I want some SGA tonight just because I know that I'm going to have a lot of Pelicans. So the best way for my Pelicans to get there is a close competitive game. The best way that happens is if SGA has a big game. So I will have a bunch of SGA and these Pelicans guys for sure tonight.
Is SGA the only one?
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Giddey?
tough team for me. I mean, you can always make the case for Giddey. I guess, yeah, I'd include Giddey as well, but definitely not as stable. And then maybe some of this Jalen Williams. He went back into the starting lineup, played a few more minutes, 4.4K. So, yeah, I mean, Giddey and Williams a little bit, but, definitely more SGA.
Yeah, I mean, I love the SGA call right now, especially if, let's say Jaylen Brown is ruled out like we think he is. And again, we're just guessing. Tatum was ruled out yesterday for rest. Maybe Brown today. It makes sense that he's questionable. Yeah. But if he's out, Tatum at 10-6 would get all the ownership above SGA at 10-5. So you get the direct pivot there. I mean, I could play SGA at any time. The dude's just a complete stud. And when you're running all these Pelicans who are favored by 6, you hope the game stays close. If it is, it's all SGA. So really do like that call. AP, talk about these Pelicans. Rank your favorites. Any OKC side for you?
Yeah, this is the game that we want to target. So a couple of things, because we all know that the Pelican side is going to be really elite. The only thing throwing me off here is Joe Val's projection and ownership projection, everything about him. Like I'm showing like, even we're under on him. And I think it just has to do with how volatile he's been, because he does become matchup based. And he's coming off, a couple matchups against the Grizzlies. And man, him and Steven Adams, just like those two always getting foul trouble or whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case here. When I look at this game and how I see it unfolding, I see the Pelicans pounding them in the paint. I don't think the Thunder have anyone that can stop Zion Williamson and Joe Val in this matchup. I think you can play them together. We saw that combo just smash recently against the Spurs. I think Zion went for a 55 piece, and I think Joe Val went for like 42. Joe Val's 5,900 on the slate. He's already put up a 60 piece, I think once, maybe twice this season alone. And I see him going very low owned. So I love Joe Val here. I think he's a really good tournament play as long as he stays lower owned. I'm grading him out as an elite core play tag on the heat map. And that's going to be a place where I look to get leverage. I think I can play Zion and Joe Val too here. I think a lot of people go one or the other, which, on paper maybe is the right path. But if we're correct, and if the Pelicans just pound them in the paint, you're going to see those two guys have really big games. I like it even more if Larry Nance is out. If he's out, then yeah, I think they stay big, and I think they just pound the Thunder here. I mean, you got JRE, you got Poku, like they're not going to stop Zion and Joval here. So, and then I even like it better with Jose Alvarado. Hopefully we see some more, or even like if Devontae Graham gets in there, you're going to see those guys run a more traditional offense, I think, than when CJ McCollum or Brandon Ingram's in there, because those guys can create on their own. I see Jose, I see Devontae Graham, looking for Zion, looking for Joval, looking for those easy buckets in the paint. So Trey Murphy, another guy, phenomenal play. The price is just too cheap. So I'm going to be loading up on this game. Absolutely love the Pels side. And the thing is, this Thunder's team, they're good enough to keep all of these games close. It seems like every Thunder game, this game, it's always, you look at the box score, you turn it on or whatever, and it's like, gosh, 115 to 113, in the fourth with 4 or 5 minutes left. And you're kicking yourself if you don't have exposure to it. So my thing, I can never get correct is Josh Giddey. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm just unlucky. I never get this guy right. So if I'm playing the OKC guy side, it's always Shea. Shea is the man. The dude is an absolute baller. If I'm running it back, that's where I'm going. And Giddey, if I get screwed by not having him, it is what it is. I'll live to fight another day. But as long as he's like 7K or higher and Shea is playing, I'm fine fading him. I'd just rather play Shea in this spot.
No, I'm on the same page. If I'm MMEing, if I had 150 and Giddey would always be in my if I'm playing OKC, I make a rule 1 max SGA Giddey. I wouldn't want to play them together, and he has that upside. But man, he has so much downside when you're playing single. I mean, he can single-handedly ruin your night at 7K. Look at some of his scores: 27, 40, 25. Go ahead.
Yeah. What do you guys think about Joval though? Because like I see him as the guy. Like when I ran that first, I was going SaberSim. I run the cash optimal. Nowhere to be found. Like 1,500 builds, maybe he landed in a couple, which I thought was crazy. So I mean, are you guys on him at all, or what are your thoughts with him?
He hasn't played more than 30 minutes once this year. He's played 31 minutes once out of all of them. It just like seems like that maybe I think Larry Nance would have to be out for me to think about it even more. Cause even if Larry Nance is ruled in, I mean, they can go Zion at the 5, Nance at the 5. They can go multiple different ways. Whereas if Nance is out, I'd feel a little better about Joval getting more 5 run, but I'd still be scared. They can slide Zion at the 5, Herb at the 4, and play more small ball. And they just haven't gave him the minutes. So the ownership is going to be down for sure. He's not going to get ownership. So I'll never say no to a short team who's already thin with no ownership. But man, those minutes are real scary for me.
I like him in tournaments. I think there is a chance that they have to switch how they run their offense tonight. You know, I mean, obviously when you have Ingram and McCollum out there, you don't necessarily need to have Valanciunas out there as well. So, I mean, I think there is a chance where they say, you know what, we're going to lean on him a little bit more here. We're going to play him into the 30s. So I think in tournaments, I think he's a really good tournament play.
There you go. Yeah. And I think he does get overlooked. And I think he gets a bump for sure if Larry Nance is out. Which might not be reflected in projections, but I'd feel better that they wouldn't have as many options to go smaller ball at the 5.
Yeah.
Let's get to the next game on the slate. Again, 275. I set the number too low. You'll try and make a push for 300. 275 is the number for the plays of the day, though. Still got a good amount of games left. And when you do hit that like button, big red subscribe button right there to the left. Someone said it's not red anymore. I'm not sure. When you click it, it's gray. It says subscribed. I know that. So hit that button. You'll get notified every time we do go live. Shows on this channel talking all sports pretty much every single day. All we ask, like button, subscribe button. We appreciate it. Let's get to the next game on the slate. The Houston Rockets, Denver Nuggets. This game starts at 9. So there's an hour window in between those 8 p.m. Eastern games. Again, Rockets, Nuggets, 228.5 total. Denver is favored by 11.5. Jayshawn Tate's out for the Rockets. Otherwise, they are healthy. As far as Denver, Jeff Green is out. Bones Highland doubtful. Michael Porter Jr. is doubtful. I mean, Bones and MPJ, 2 guys that have a big role on this team, means I probably will have some interest in Denver. I think you can get to some of these guys. AP, I'll start with you, but Bruce Brown has been just a total stud. Still below 6K. I'm good with him for sure. Jamal 7K, Jokic 11.4, Aaron Gordon 6.3. I don't have interest on this Houston team. I think they're a pretty easy fade at full health, but I'm interested in some of these Denver guys. I just don't know which one, AP. So help me out with this side.
Yeah, I mean, we need our guy Big T on here to break down the Denver side, but he will be on. Or no, I don't think he is on the block. He'll throw us. I
mean, he always has his. He always has his player pull up, his core plays, and all that stuff. So always look at that.
Like with Jokic, here's what I see in him. Like when he doesn't need to be aggressive and he can defer to his teammates, he's going to let them get involved and put up. That's
felt like all year this year so far.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And the thing is Aaron Gordon has taken his game to kind of another level, it seems like, from an aggression standpoint. Bruce Brown, I've always liked Bruce Brown. Such a good pickup for the Nuggets. I think the guy can defend, the guy can distribute. The guy is now learning really how to create as well. So I think he's just been phenomenal. And then, so like I have it as Jamal Murray, good tournament play. I've been playing opposing guards against the Rockets all season long. They continue to crush. So Jamal Murray, again, 7K. He put up 21 shots against the Clippers last game, put up 45 DK points. Can't remember if a couple pieces had to be out there. But for me, I think you can play any of these guys. I don't think the Nuggets are going to blow this Rockets team out. They're going to win for sure, but I see the Rockets kind of lurking going into the 4th. So it's going to be a spot where you can play Aaron Gordon. I think Bruce Brown becomes a phenomenal play. I think Jokic in tournaments is fine. I think Jamal Murray in tournaments is fine. So for me, I'm going to give these guys fair projections, just like I'm going to give fair projections to the Pelicans situation, just like I am Shake Milton if Embiid's out, and then obviously the Cavs situation too. And I'm just going to see what the builds look like. So again, on the Nuggets side, I like Jokic. I like Gordon. I think he's fine in tournaments. Bruce Brown might be my favorite just because you can play him at the point guard spot, the small forward spot, the guard spot, forward spot, or utility spot. There's a lot of flexibility in what you can do with them. And Jamal Murray, same thing. I think he is in play. I think more so in tournaments though. And this is a spot though, I'm not going to run it back with anyone. KPJ price way up there. Jalen Green price way up there. They're healthy. I don't need to go to anyone on the Rockets side.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Pretty much lockstep in this game. Sean Strang in chat. Haven't seen that name in chat. He said Siakam and Barnes are probable. Appreciate that, Sean. Haven't seen it again. Hope everything's going well. But news is starting to hit. Banton's probable as well. So now Toronto pretty much fully healthy. Still have Fred VanVleet over Kyrie for both of you.
Closer.
I mean, it's 10 games. You don't need to play
closer.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably be off both.
Yeah.
I still like VanVleet though.
Yeah.
And then do though, so that's not saying much.
And then we have Rui, who is ruled out. Well, Wizards aren't pretty thin either. I don't think that changes too much in that one. So news is starting to come in. We haven't got really more value. Still looks like the Pelicans and stuff. And I guess that's the Dean Wade. He played 36, 33 minutes the past 2 games. So news is starting to hit. Appreciate that again, Sean. Hoop, help me out in this one. Denver, I like Jokic. I like Aaron Gordon. I like Jamal Murray. I like Bruce Brown. Any rules you'd set with them? How many max? Do you like them? Break down this game for us.
Yeah, well, I definitely like the Nuggets. I had no interest in Houston, and I'll be fading the Houston side. Again, another team that's projected to score a lot of points here, 120 for the Nuggets. I really like Jamal Murray, and I think he is a very, very strong play. You know what you're getting. He's going to play mid-30s in terms of minutes, and last game he shot the ball 21 times. That's super. I mean, that's what you want. 6 rebounds, 9 assists, started to kind of do it all. No Porter Jr. here either. So, or Bones Highland. Love Jamal Murray. I think he's one of the best plays on the slate. Bruce Brown, I think a fine option as well. And then you can play Jokic in tournaments too. I think Jokic is fine, but by far my favorite play in this game is Jamal Murray. I think the price is good. 7K. He's like 6. I don't know. What is he, like 6'8" on FanDuel? Strong option on both sites. Really like him here tonight, but nothing on the Houston side.
Yep, I agree there. 3 for 3 on no Houston. We do like some Denver. I like the Jamal Murray call for sure. I take it you wouldn't play him with Jokic though, just taking up too much of your salary together. Hoop.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I don't think. I mean, in tournaments, if you run some teams and they happen to hit together, I'd be fine with it. But if you're like hand building, I definitely would not have those two together.
Yeah, I got a question for both of you real quick. And it's in relation to the previous game we talked about, but is Zion Williamson tonight going to score more DK points than Aaron Gordon recently did against the Thunder? What do you guys say without looking? Yes or no?
No, because how you phrased the question.
Yeah, I was just pulling up Aaron Gordon's game.
I didn't
put
even
up like a 51
it.
piece. No, Zion could. If Aaron Gordon can put up 50 against the Thunder, so can.
Well, you
Zion.
said don't pull. I assume he was going for. He went for 63 or something. I didn't know the exact number. I mean, you hope.
Yeah, I mean that 51 for Aaron Gordon is basically 63 for Zion, right?
Probably like a 67 piece for Zion. Yeah. Aaron Gordon's been playing good ball. That is for sure. We got 3 games left. Again, 275 is the number for the plays of the day. 3 games left. Chicago Bulls, Utah Jazz, big total 236. Utah is favored by 2. Lonzo, Caruso, both still out for the Bulls. As far as Utah, Mike Conley, Rudy Gay out, and then Lauri Markkanen is questionable. I didn't even know they had Johnny Juzang. He's not DFS relevant, but I did just see that. AP, I'll go to you in this one. What does the Markkanen questionable tag do for you? Beasley, Horton, Tucker, if they ruled out, I assume one of them would probably slide into the starting lineup. But how are you approaching this news, I guess, before you get into anything? Because the game's at 9 p.m. Eastern and all the other games 8 p.m. Eastern below that we talked about so far, except that last one. So are you waiting on news? Are you having spots for this Markkanen news? In or out? What does he do for you? And then any interest on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, the total on this game is kind of crazy. The Bulls pretty much healthy, while the big 3, Levine, DeRozan, Vucevic, all expected to play. So, I mean, I don't know. When like DeRozan has been balling. I mean, you can go there. Again, one of those spots where I'm going to give him a fair projection and we'll see where he lands type of thing. Like, I don't really want to play him, but if I love everything else about my build and my last guy is DeRozan, I think I'd be fine with it. And then Laurie, like, man, I don't know. Yeah, I haven't really been playing him a lot this season. Like, I feel like this Jazz team is kind of coming back down to what we expect them to be. You got to think that they're going to start to lose some more games and stuff, and we're starting to see that too. So this is going to be a game where I'm definitely underweight, even if Lauri Markkanen's out. I know that's going to give a bump to Malik Beasley, but again, I think there are better options on the slate, many of which we've already discussed. So I don't see myself getting to many of these guys. Like we said, and they do random stuff too. Like the coach was praising Nickeil Alexander-Walker and then follows it up by playing him 16 minutes the very next game. So I don't necessarily trust the Jazz side and, the Bulls side. I don't know. Things can, when the big three's in there, it just gets really difficult. I will say their price tags are in a range where you could make the case, given the high total of this game, to play them. I just think there's better options on the slate. So most likely a fade for me, despite the high total here.
No, yeah, the prices have come down on Chicago for all of them. DK did a good job. I mean, it was pretty easy. The Pelicans, the Bulls, the Timberwolves, all of them, when they were fully healthy, the prices didn't really act like it. And I just thought they're all easy fades. I mean, Levine 7-2, Vooch 7-4, DeRozan 8-2. I think you could get to all of them. I would definitely set a rule, max one of them. Again, maybe it's more of a 150 max because all these guys can easily put up a snowflake when the other two take over, but the prices are definitely good. And then, Hoop, I want to ask you a question, like a Kelly Olynyk or a Jared Vanderbilt. Do you think you can play them and be fine with it? Because I think personally, if Laurie's in, I'm still fine with Vanderbilt or Olynyk. More so Olynyk. I mean, he's played 30 minutes pretty much all the games. He's been pretty good. We're not going to probably have this news before those 8 p.m. Eastern games. I mean, I'm fine with them, and you have more upside if he's ruled out where others cannot adjust to that. So talk about that side a little bit, and then, talk about these Bulls and what you're doing with them.
Yeah, I mean, on the Utah side, just 2 plays for me. Kelly Olynyk at 5.7. I mean, he's pretty safe type option. You know what you're going to get. He's going to play 30 minutes. He typically gets you, somewhere around 30 fantasy points, and there's upside baked in too, especially in a game that is a 236 total and is supposed to remain close. So I like him. And I also like Colin Sexton playing a lot of minutes, probably close to 30 minutes. He's been very productive, 36, 27, 33 fantasy points. It's a fair price tag for him. So I'd rather, if I'm playing the Utah guys, instead of playing dudes like Markkanen and Clarkson, who are expensive, I'll just play these guys in the mid 5K range, like Sexton and Olynyk. Then on the Bulls side, it's their main 3. The prices I think are good. Levine 7-2 on DKs, 6-7 on FanDuel. That's a really good price tag for him over there. I believe that's still his FanDuel price tag. They haven't adjusted it all that much. Let me see.
I'm pulling it up too. 6-7. Yep.
Yeah, 6-7. That's a really good price tag for Levine. So I like him over there. Fine with him on FanDuel. DeRozan's a very safe option. You know what you can get from him. And then Vooch is probably my least favorite, I think, of those 3, but still in the conversation tonight because how low the price tag is at 7.4. So I kind of like this game a little bit.
Yep, I do like it. Did you have any interest on the other side? Oh, yeah, you just said Olynyk.
Yeah, Olynyk and Sexton, like I said.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're fine options, not cores or anything, but I'm cool playing both.
Yeah, for sure. Would you make a rule with the Bulls? 1 Levine, DeRozan,
Yeah,
Vooch?
probably. Yeah, maybe 2. I mean, if you're going to have some Utah, maybe 2 of them, because there's definitely paths where 2 of them can get there.
Yeah, I mean, with their prices, you just got to hope to have the right 2. That's all. 2 games left on this one. Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings, 233.5 total. Phoenix is favored by 1. Chris Paul, Cam Johnson, Crowder all still out for Phoenix. Crowder hasn't played at all. Cam Johnson's been out for a while. So is Chris Paul. So nothing new there. And then on the Sacramento side, this team is also healthy. So 2 healthy teams. I'll go right back to you in this one, Hoop. Anything standing out to you?
Yeah, this is going to be one of those games I cross off outside of Devin Booker. I mean, you can always play Devin Booker. I don't know how much I'd get to him. If you're doing 150, he's not a core play. He's not a guy I'm playing on my main teams, but in 150, maybe some Booker. But outside of that, I'm fading this game.
AP.
Yeah, I'm kind of right in line with Hoop. I mean, DeAndre Ayton finally has been balling lately. I'm not going to chase it. The price tag is adjusted upwards. Devin Booker in tournaments is about it for me. I'm not playing anyone from the Kings.
I like it. We got one game left. Again, 275 likes is the number. We're a little over 250, over 500 watching though. Let's make a push to 300. I'm not going to look at the likes till we talk about this last game. I'm not sure how long it's going to take, but 275 is the number. The last game of the slate. We appreciate it. When you do hit that like button, hit that big red subscribe button right next to it as well. It always does help us out. We appreciate it. Last game of the night though, 10:30 p.m. Eastern, the Indiana Pacers, the Los Angeles Lakers. 238 total. The Lakers are favored by 4. On the Lakers side, Pat Bev's out. AD is going to play. As far as the Indiana side, Nembhard is doubtful, and that's it there. AP, I'll go back to this one. I mean, 2 healthy teams, like I said last game. We didn't have interest in this one. I don't have too much interest in this one. AD, Tyrese Halliburton, you can always play them, but outside of those 2, what you looking at?
Yeah, I mean, like LeBron, LeBron, AD, like one of them could get there for you. They're healthy. It's a good spot. It's a good matchup. You need you need a back and forth, very competitive. You need, AD getting fed in the paint. So, I mean, I'm not going to if you really want to play AD or LeBron on the slate and you have a good read on the situation and you don't like some of the other studs, yeah, I wouldn't talk anyone out of it because the game environment's going to be really good. AD looks phenomenal right now, even with LeBron James back. The usage is still high because they're kind of separating out Russ, Westbrook coming off the bench and everything. And when Russ is in there, if he's in there with AD, he's just going to feed AD. So AD would be the guy that I would look at. My only other problem too with Anthony Davis is you can only play him at the center spot on DraftKings. If he was power forward, if you could play him at the power forward spot, it opens up a little bit of flexibility roster construction wise. I think you could make a case a little bit more, but that's just, not the case today. So I will probably be off. But man, it wouldn't surprise me if he puts up a decent number tonight. This is going to be the first time, like Miles Turner was talking earlier in the season, the Lakers, they need me. If you guys want to trade for me, you should. Very open about that. And then Buddy Hield as well. So again, in tournaments, if you want to play on a narrative, Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, maybe a little extra motivated tonight. Then Tyrese Halliburton, he's always in my player pool. You're right about him, Title. The guy can ball. He's good, man. And I think he's very much in play here tonight.
Yeah, he's fun to watch for sure. He's definitely good. I'm good with Buddy and Miles Turner as well. I feel like Buddy just absolutely kills the Lakers off of memory. 6.4K, man, he's going to chuck. And Miles Turner, the price is up there at 7.5. You get that narrative right there, though. I think all those they're priced fairly. It's not just I'm playing it for a narrative, but the high 238 total. Lakers don't play D, an up and down game. Tyrese is always
real quick. Title, haven't they been a little bit better defensively with Lonnie Walker? Now you got Schroeder, a guy who's really worked on his defense, and then I even think Troy Brown has been a little bit better defensively versus the Lakers team of old, like last season, right? I mean, I'm not saying they're good defensively. I'm just saying it seems like they're a little bit better this year defensively.
The secondary pieces, I think, play a little better D, but you always still have LeBron when he wants a call, not getting back as hard. Russ pouting, the AD. There's just a lot of transition opportunities. And Tyrese will push the Buddy call. Tyrese, Buddy, Turner. I probably max one of them just because, how many healthy Pacers do I want? But I think all 3 of them as a late night hammer can get the job done. Lakers, Pacers, break down this one for us.
Yeah, I don't love anything here. The one thing I will say about this game, if you do end up playing some pieces here, I want pieces on the other side. If you're going to play LeBron or Anthony Davis, I want Buddy or Halliburton on those teams. You want that back and forth. You want that competitive game. Wouldn't be shocked if parts of this game were on the winner. Maybe a Halliburton, Anthony Davis team or something. They both can go off high total, close spread. I just don't know how much I'll have of it, but if I were coming here, I'd want, pieces on both sides.
Yeah, it's a game I don't think gets much ownership. The last one of the night, I don't think anything's a must, but I definitely can see some of these pieces. I like the Indy side more. If I went to the Lakers, it's probably just AD or bust is how I see it. But that is all 10 games on this slate. Again, waiting for a good amount of injury news. Some of it has started to come out, talking about the Toronto situation. The Up to Lock show, it's definitely every day is a great day to watch it. No different today. They'll break down all the injury news when it comes in. There's also that NFL show, was free today. JT, Randone, Big T broke down the Colts and Pittsburgh. Big T's player pool will be up for both sports, cash chart playbook, all of that as always. If you aren't a member, head over to Run Pure Sports. Make sure you do get in the Discord, can get all your questions answered. Everything gets notified, and we let you guys know when everything is up in the Discord. So head over there. Again, Run Pure Sports. Checking the like button. 279. We did get 275 likes. So we'll get you the plays of the day. But let's make a push to 300. When we get out of here, if I see 300, it'll definitely bring a little smile to my face. So getting you the plays of the day. If you haven't hit it, we do appreciate it. I'll start with myself first with the SO play of the day. Going back a couple games to the Utah-Chicago side, Kelly Olynyk at 5.7K, the SO play of the day. He's playing good basketball. They're already going to need his size against Vooch in the front court. And if Markkanen is out, he's questionable right now. I think you can play him if he's ruled in. If he's ruled out, not everyone's going to be able to get to that game since it locks at 9 p.m. Eastern. I assume most lineups will already be done for. And then he's a great play. So a lot of upside built in. Kelly Olynyk, the SO play of the day. AP, gentlemen's call of the day. Who do you got for us?
Yeah, I like that little discussion we had about Joval. I think maybe we're playing on a game script here. So yeah, is there some risk with this play? There definitely is. I love the 5.9K price tag. He's shown us that he's nuked before, twice, multiple times this season. If he does that at 5.9K, I think that's going to separate you in tournaments. So Joval is my play of the day.
I love it. Who? Rich Parents play of the day. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with Jamal Murray. Like him on both sides, 7K on DK, 6.8 on FanDuel, 21 shots last time, kind of filled up the stat sheet. They're still kind of dealing with some injuries. Jamal Williams, Rich Parents play of the day.
Jamal Williams, Rich Parents play of the day, right behind.
Did I say Jamal Williams?
On the last, you said Jamal Murray the whole
Jamal
time.
Murray.
And then
maybe that's a sign of something for next week. Next week's main NFL slate.
Yeah, and then right in the Zoom it says Jamal Williams right above your head too, so that's good. Jamal Murray, Joe Val, Kelly Olynyk, the 3 plays of the day. We're talking a little football. There's football tonight, of course, like we just said. The Steelers, the Colts, monster prize pools, big NBA slate. No better. If you're a sports fan, there's no better time of the year than right now with all this stuff going on. No better time to be a member. Run Pure Sports. Get a membership. Get in the Discord. You will not regret it. Hit that like button. Hit that big red subscribe button on the way out. Let's see some RPS logos up top tonight. Good luck, everybody, in your contest. For AP, who Simon Behind the Sticks, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.